Hi, welcome to another How to Make a Card video with me, Emily Hessler. To start off this card, I'm gonna create a frame, and this is gonna look like a photo frame. And to do that, I'm taking two of my dies. This is the rectangle one is from Longphone, and also this squared one. I'm die cutting two of these and just popping them out. We're gonna save all our pieces to create this card. But to start off, I'm gonna lay those pieces aside and we're gonna stamp out two of these very cute fairies. These are from Elle, and this stamp set is called Pixie Dust. And to stamp these out, I'm gonna use Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm gonna ink this up and press them down on some Nina smooth cardstock. And this is especially good when you're gonna color with Copics or with some other markers. I will use my Spectrum Noir markers to color these fairies in. And now I'm just gonna prepare this, and I'm gonna ink the other one up, and I'm also gonna ink up two of those little ones, and I'm gonna use the one with the star on the top. If you're interested in knowing which colors I'm using for the wings or the other parts of these fairies, you can always check the description box below. Here I'm trying to lay out the top of the cap of the pens, but as you can see, some of the numbers on the colors and so on has faded away. I've been using these for I think 4 or 5 months, but even though I haven't used them that much, the color that tells us which number the color the pen have has faded away, and I would say that's the biggest downside with these markers. I would love them to stick, so I always know which pen I'm taking and so on, but I'm thinking of taking a permanent marker and just making sure that I'm placing the number and the letter so I always know which one it is. When I'm done with the coloring, I fussy cut all the different elements to this card out, both the fairies and the wands. Now I'm taking a fine line marker and just tracing the edges on all the outcuts so it gets a more defined edge. And you can see those small tiny parts on the ones were very hard to cut out, so that actually helps me a lot when I can cheat by taking a marker and just inking that up. Here you can see me take those small squares that we die cutted earlier. I'm just using broken china and I think that was Pickled Raspberry, and I'm just making small circles and making sure that I have some ink on. This is gonna create the backgrounds in those small frames that we created. To create some more interest, I'm just flicking on some water and then taking it off, and this creates this awesome bleach. I'm doing this process 2 times, and it really creates a fun look to this. When I'm done with that, I'm gonna take some more of those stamps in that same Pixie Dust stamp set that we used. I'm taking 3 of these small stars, and I'm just testing them out on some scrap paper, and then I'm taking the same color and just pressing that down on top of those small backgrounds. When I'm done with that, I'm taking my watercolor pencil and just tracing those stars so it gets a little more soft edge to them. I would say if I would do this again, I wouldn't do this step because I think this creates some bleach again, and I wasn't expecting that much, and when I tried to blend it out, it hadn't dried enough. So here you can see me just checking so I can cover that mistake up with that fairy. I'm deciding that I'm gonna take that blue background with the pink fairy and the lilac fairy with that pink background, and you will see it here. I'm just taping that frame in place again, and I'm making sure that it really sticks, and you don't have to do any more than this. This will hold this in place perfectly, and we're gonna take some more adhesive and making sure that it sticks good on top of our card base later. As you can see here, I already been checking and deciding which sentiment I'm gonna use on this card. I decided to go with that one that says magical birthday wishes. I inked that up with some Virsafine Onyx black and then pressed it down on top of that frame. Then I coated that with some clear embossing powder and heat set that with my heat tool. This makes us get a really crisp impression on this sentiment. Now I'm just taking some adhesive and deciding how I want to assemble this card. As you can see, I'm taking that pink frame and just placing that at an angle on this card, and now I'm also taking that second one and trying to layer that on top of it. As you can see, I'm holding this down with my acrylic block just to get an even pressure and making sure that all those small corners get stuck very well. As you can see, I'm in need of taking some more adhesive to some of those corners and just pressing it down so it doesn't flick up. When I'm done with that, I'm just playing around with the placement on both of my cute little fairies. I'm deciding that I want them to be looking at each other and having a one in each hand. When I'm done with that, I'm gonna take some adhesive to the back side of this fairy and just press it down on top of that frame. And you can see me do that now. This card is gonna be pretty flat, and I think that's awesome because it's gonna go through the mail without any problems. When I'm done with that, I'm just taking my acrylic block once again and just pressing that down. Now I'm taking some adhesive to the second fairy and just coating that on the back side, and then I'm pressing it down into that frame with that background that we created. Taking my acrylic block to the second one. Now I'm taking my wands and just off camera apparently taking some adhesive to the back side of that and just pressing that down into that hand of hers. And I'm doing the same thing this time on camera, luckily, and just pressing that down into the second hand of that fairy. And here we have it. This card is nearly finished, but as always I'm deciding that I want to take some sequins and decoratives with. This sequins are from Neat and Tangled and they are called Pixie Dust. And now I'm just playing around with the placement of those. And when I'm pleased with that, I'm gonna take a drop of adhesive to the back side and just place them onto the card. To decorate this card even further, I'm taking these pearl stickers from Panduro and just pressing them down into the center of all those small sequins. I think that looks really good, and I really like this finished look of those sequins and that little drop in the middle. So here we have the finished card. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, don't forget to give this card a thumb up. If you want to see more of my work, you can always subscribe to my channel here at YouTube or visit me at Instagram. My name is scrapbooking_Svea. Until next time, have a great day. Bye!